Good evening, dear sisters and brothers. Welcome to the evening session of Being Heartful Every Day with Swadhyaya. Today is day 35, and we continue immersing ourselves in the secret theme of developing awareness. Awareness is not a static insight, it is a living, breathing consciousness that grows each time when we pause, observe, and turn inward with sincerity. Self awareness is not a fixed destination, it expands as a consciousness expands, both inward into the subconscious and upward into the superconscious. And in this journey, we encounter every layer of our being physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. As our awareness deepens, we learn from every interaction. We experience things that act as a teacher, and every emotion becomes a window inward. This awareness leads to natural transformation, not one forced by guilt or effort, but born from inner clarity and the grace that flows from connection with the divine. Daji says, the moment you become aware, transformation begins. Awareness acts like a light in a dark room. It reveals the ego's trick, our habitual patterns, and our inner resistances, not to shame us, but to allow the healing. This awareness creates the field for purity, simplicity, and surrender to blossom. And awareness also helps us integrate our inner states with how we live, speak, and interact with the world. We become more authentic, compassionate, and centered. And we live in the world, but are no longer ruled by it. Dear sisters and brothers, if you have been moved by the reflections, then do consider sharing the master classes and BHED sessions with your near and dear ones. And this evening, we return to our reading of Discovering the Self, allowing its wisdom to settle more deeply into our hearts. With every revisit, a new nuance reveals itself, offering a richer understanding of how awareness can lead us into the very core of our being. So we will revisit the reading once more from the same article, The Art of Removing and Creating Habits, Part 10, under the Discovering the Self. I think self awareness is probably the most important thing toward being a champion. Billie Jean King, who looks outside, dreams, who looks inside, awakes. Carl Jung. Yoga in action. Last month we explored the three niyamas that make up Kriya Yoga, which means yoga in action. In other words, how inner changes in our thoughts and feelings are expressed in our outer behavior. At the beginning of part 2 of his Yoga Sutras, in the section of practice, Patanjali reminds us that austerity, self study, and God awareness together constitute yoga in action, which is Kriya Yoga. The second of the three niyamas of Kriya Yoga is Swadhyaya, meaning self study. But Kriya Yoga is actually more about the inner awareness and choices that define our action in every moment. This awareness purifies our activities of any negative effects of ego, removing selfishness. It propels us away from a habitual way of living, driven by the past, to a life lived in the present. Swadhyaya. Self study requires us to turn out attention inward so that we can learn about ourselves. Now, that can be a daunting business when we don't feel comfortable with what we see. But every culture has recognized the value of self study. So, here we will try to solve the problem of how to face ourselves. Self study has been the cornerstone of psychology from ancient times to the present day. In the East and West, in mysticism, astrology, psychiatry, psychotherapy, yogic psychology, mindfulness, cognitive therapy, and many other fields. Modern scientific research also tells us that self study and self awareness go hand in hand with meditative practices. The two are synergistic, and in Daniel Goleman's book, Emotional Intelligence, he highlights the research showing us that meditation fosters emotional intelligence, of which self awareness is one of the key pillars. How can you learn about yourself? Why do you need to look within to learn about yourself? Knowledge from external sources, for example, observing the world around you, reading books, watching and listening to digital media, and talking with other people like counselors and psychologists will no doubt give you some self insight. But at best, it is a mirror and a catalyst for self awareness. The most direct ways to learn about yourself are meditation. Meditation with awareness is equal to self study. In meditation, you will be able to notice the play of your breaths, the movements and vibrations within the subtle body. You may know them as your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. As you witness them, gradually you will learn how they arise, what motivates them, where they lead, and many other things. When this is done without attachment or desire, you discover that these vrittis no longer generate turbulence or entanglement. They simply pass, and you're free from their hooks. Through meditation, you will dive into deeper dimensions of yourself, from the level of thinking to the level of feeling and beyond. Self study does not just stay at the surface level of your thoughts and emotions. Your journey into layers of your being that you cannot access through conversation or a more analytical approach to self discovery. After meditation, when you take the time to acquire, enliven, imbibe, and become one with the condition you have received, you will have become unified with that state, AEIOU, and develop your abilities of self study at all levels, not just at the mental level. The condition will permeate every atom of your being so that you embody the effects of meditation fully. Then it will be absorbed at subtler and subtler levels of your being. I repeat, the condition will permeate every atom of your being so that you embody the effects of meditation fully. Then it will be absorbed at subtler and subtler levels of your being. After this, when you write your experience in a journal, you will develop self awareness to an even greater extent. Writing and expressing your experience in other ways, like music, art, or dance, allow you to explore it and study it in different ways. You can revisit it and see patterns over time, which is difficult to do otherwise because the mind is always adapting and changing. Your memories are not static. They evolve with new and added experience. Dear sisters and brothers, we will put the rest to the reading now. And as it is almost the time, let us join to offer the universal prayer together with hearts full of love. All brothers and sisters are being filled with love and devotion, and real faith is growing stronger in them. सभी भाई बहन प्रेम और भक्ति से भर रहे हैं और उनमें सच्ची श्रद्धा दृढ़ होती जा रही है। Be the profound essence of this universal prayer. Awaken devotion and love within every heart across the world. And dear sisters and brothers, as the day comes to a closure, let's take a time to turn inward to offer the reflections of the day and the bedtime prayers. Offer the day's learning, gratitude, and unresolved feelings into the heart through the bedtime prayer. And as we continue to journey with awareness, let us remember that we are not trying to become something. We are uncovering what already is the light, the joy, the divine that is within. Thank you for showing up again this evening. And we look forward to seeing you all tomorrow for the evening session at 8:50 p.m., where we will also introduce a new theme for the upcoming week, a fresh doorway into the inner growth and the spiritual refinement. Until then, wishing you all a very good rest and a very good